Hi, welcome everybody, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. We're going to do a little bit of testing on blending of sets, keep it in the Mizuno new MP20 launch of the irons, and obviously we've seen the very new hollow construction, the HMB model, and the beautiful MB. And I think from what Mizuno was saying, they're very much pushing this, or they've built these irons around ease of blending these sets and mixing them up. So that's what I wanted to really sort of test in this video. I've got a HMB 6 iron, okay, which is coming in at 28 degrees. We know there's a little bit of a loft difference between these. And then I've got an MP20 MB, the pure blade, in the 7 iron. So typically I'll probably see more golfers putting the HMB in those longer irons, a little bit more technology in the head, ease of launch, a bit more forgiveness, and then maybe transition to that blade iron or short irons for that ultimate sort of field control and playability. So I'm going to test these, see if there's any differences of the gap in, distance, ball flight, everything like that, and see if these are really very blendable. So I'm going to start off with the HMB. So as I say, this is a 6 iron. This is coming in at a loft of 28 degrees. So we saw through my review videos that the HMB lofts are 2 degrees stronger, pretty much consistently through the set against the MB blade. So we have got some slight 2 degree differences of loft with the HMB being a little bit stronger. So this is 28 degree. We know there's some differences in the head. HMB typically should launch a little bit higher, maybe peak out a little bit higher, so probably gets a little bit more of maybe that sort of distance through more of its height of its flight, and obviously the stopping power more through its descent angle. But that's what I'm really interested to look at, really. So I'm going to start off the 6 iron first. Got myself out about 184 from the flag. Let's hit a few away with this first. Okay, so not a bad opening shot there, hitting that green quite nicely. So we're just seeing that slightly large appearance with the HMB, a little bit more confident span, and I think this is where they'll be very, very popular in those long irons, as I did mention in my review videos. A little bit thick on that top edge, but not a lot of offset there, which is good, and the lofts aren't crazy strong, which I'm a big sort of fan of, but obviously a little bit more technology under that bonnet with this particular iron. It's a lovely strike. Maybe we saw it again in the review video. Quite consistent, that first one there. Quite easy to sort of pick that club away. So we've got some sort of split tungsten weights in the sole or internally in the head, which is obviously helping with a little bit of stability, a little bit ease of launch. We've got a little bit more mass in the top section of the club. You probably just see that little sort of chamfer off of the top edge, little taper off. So it's a little bit thicker. When you look at it from this side angle, it's a little bit thicker. We don't see that from the top angle, which is a good thing. So that little bit more mass up higher in the club face just helps on that. Again, that stability as you're missing the stripe more up and down the actual club face. Again, trying to create sort of consistencies as that ball comes out on those slight mishits. That's a little bit low necky. That was a poor strike. How's that done? Still getting up there. I was pretty poor on that strike, to be honest, on that particular shot, and that still managed to get up to that green. What did that carry there? Let's have a little look at that here. 177. So it has dropped. It wasn't a great strike, but it still managed to get up there. So maybe that little bit of that forgiveness level. I wouldn't like to hit that strike with that MB iron, that's for sure. It's a nice strike. Touch left side of that green. Again, quite consistent on that sort of carry number. Okay, we'll hit one more with HMB in the 6 iron. So 28 degrees of loft on this particular club. Ooh, just a tiny bit low in the club face, tiny bit low. But again, it is hit its desired distance. So that's going pretty nice there. So let's move into that MB blade iron and see how that potentially can blend as a gap in, as a flight, and what we see down the range. Okay, so MP20 blade, the MB in a 7 iron now. So this is lofting in at 34 degrees. So typically what we saw in the review videos and what is actually happening is a 2-degree difference between the MB and the HMB models, where the MB's obviously been a little bit weaker. So that creates now a gap of 6 degrees from that HMB 6 iron to this 7 iron. Typically we see 3 degrees difference of those long irons jumping into 4 degrees as you go into the short iron. So this is jumping 6 degrees now. So does that create a difference of the gap? We've also maybe got to work into the equation as well with the HMB iron, a bit more tech in there, the tungsten weight, hollow design, possibly a little bit more spring effect on that club face, being built around being a bit hotter off the face, and obviously a blade doesn't. So does that 6 degree difference then grow a little bit more in terms of ball speed off the face, and again, does that create gapping issues? That's what I'm really interested to see with this video. So gonna hit this one here. I've just moved myself now 14 yards further, so sort of a 10 to 12, 13 yard difference between gapping between irons. So I've just moved myself pretty much that much closer to the green, so hopefully we can see what that gapping is like. Obviously, the big difference really is you sit this down by the HMB iron. It's just the size of the head, obviously more compact than the MB. HMB a little bit longer from that heel to toe, bit of that thicker top edge, but the shaping and the colouring of the shaded area of the grooves and the polished sections of the heel and toe are exactly the same. Okay, so 7 iron, MB. Let's get this first one here. That feels beautiful. Feels beautiful. Little bit of a more solid, maybe contact feel with that, with it not being hollow. Doesn't sound massively different acoustic wise. So clearly we're going to have differences of forgiveness here just through the nature of the head, from that hollow construction, tungsten in there, mass at the top section, and obviously then we come into a blade. There's not a great deal you can sort of do with that. And again, the other big factor there I didn't mention before is the difference of the club face. So we've obviously got that chromoline, what we saw in the JPX hot metal iron is now in the HMB, so a little bit more of again, creating ball speed across the club face. We don't have that in the traditional MB irons. It's just that grain flow forged, solid sort of club head. Okay, fraction off the bottom, but still flighted very nicely and still getting up there. So, first instincts there doesn't seem to be too much issue in gapping. Again, we'll hit a few more shots. Nice shot. Beautiful ball flight. Beautiful ball flight. Let's go a little bit further on. Just through that slightly better strike contact. Wow, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Super strike there. There's nothing that beats that feel is of hitting that blade out of the middle of the golf club. The way it sort of flies, it's not powerful, it's not like boom, out it goes without that control. It's just that sort of flight up there. You know it's got that spin, you know it's going to get loads of control when that comes into land. That particular one spun at 6,500, which is perfect, exactly where I'd want to sort of see it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything better than that feeling, is there? Okay, let's try it one more like that last one. And then we'll just compare this transition. Oh, there we go again, beautiful. Love that, love that. A bit more accurate on that shot. Again, hitting that green nicely and stopping quick, that control. That's what we expect to see maybe in those, and where a lot of golfers will tend to do this. That little bit more forgiveness, that little bit more playability, that little bit more control in those short irons when you're trying to attack those flags, and those longer irons, a little bit more help on sort of launching it. But let's see, is there any difference of the gapping as you transfer from all that technology in the HMB, the slightly stronger loft, into the more that traditional iron? Does that create any issues? Right, okay, so let's look at some numbers. So HMB 6 iron, we know that's lofting at 28 degrees. MB blade 7 iron, that's lofting at 34 degrees. So there's that 6 degree difference. Does that create any issues on the flight, gapping, as you would blend if you were going to blend these clubs? So 6 iron, 125.7, 14 launch, spin, averaging at 5.276, couple of little low ones at 4.8, a little bit of a low, and again the strike's just going to change that a little bit more than anything, so from 4.8 to sort of 5.5, but averaging it just under that 5,300 mark, which for 6 iron of that type, that sort of loft, that's probably where I expect it to be. Peaking out at 30 yards and averaging on its carry at 182. So moving into the MB, 6 degree more weaker in that 7 iron, so expect ball speed down as we see there, 122 because of the loft, a little bit higher launch because of the loft, obviously, and then obviously a little bit more higher spin, so 6385 for that 7 iron. Again, a good area. Just had one that came off low. Again, that's as I've just maybe moved my strike a little bit, and obviously peaked at one at last one there, 6763, but averaging it's just under 6,407 iron. Again, I'm pretty happy with that position. 31 yards its peak height, so it's very similar on peaking out, even though HMB is a little bit more higher launching product. And descent angle, little bit steep as you'd expect, but 172 average on its carry distance. So there's a 10-yard gap there, which I think is absolutely bang on there, isn't it, really? You know, and I thought it might be a bigger gap than that, you know, again, with that loft of the 6 iron there, the loft difference, plus the technology in that HMB iron is possibly potentially creating more ball speed because of chromoly, tungsten there, a little bit higher on the launch, the hollowness, maybe a little bit of spring effect in that club face against the traditional blade, but the gap in there looks to be absolutely on the money. Right, there we go, guys. I think Mizuno have nailed it with this this whole new MP20 range, especially how these can sort of blend. And I think these will be the two popular ones, won't they? You know, I think we all desire to have that MB pure blade iron. Realistically, in those long irons, they are tough clubs to hit, aren't they? So they're for the real experienced ball strikers in a way, or very good ball strikers. I think for a lot of us, we could probably handle it in that 7 iron, 8 iron, 9 iron into those short irons, and then maybe just have that help of that MB, or maybe just move that strike a little bit, maybe sort of experience a little bit more of misstruck shots in those longer irons, that tungsten, a little bit help of ease of launching it. We get that little bit of help in that MB, in that HMB. The look of it are very, very similar on the shape, pretty much identical, just a slightly larger appearance in that HMB. That's probably the only bigger difference visually. But I tell you what, as they sit in the bag, they don't look too different, do they? Just a little bit more help in that bottom section with the HMB, as you'd expect. So I think they are two fantastic irons. Looking at my numbers there, between that 6 and 7 irons of blend, I'd expect to see a bigger gap because of the loft, because of the technology in that HMB, maybe how hotter on that ball speed against that more traditional, softer, more higher lofted in the 7 iron of the MB set. We didn't actually see that difference in the gap, did we? What, 10 yards between them is absolutely perfect. So I'd like to sort of see that, and that is on its money. So I wouldn't have any issues of putting that in and having that worry as a transition from that 6-7 in terms of that gap in. I think Mizuno have absolutely nailed it there. So fantastic combo blending set. I think that'll be really, really popular. Post your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on that. Is that something in your radar? Would you look at blending it? And which irons would you transition from that MB to possibly that HMB? Would it be like I've done there, MB 7 iron to 6 iron, or would it be the 8 to the 7 iron? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. If you enjoy the videos, content I'm putting out there, there's a load more coming your way. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Don't miss a video. As soon as it lands on my channel, you'll be one of the very first ones to watch it. Follow up on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter. The handles there are @MNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.